Hello, welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Stupid. It's Wednesday the 23rd of October. Hope you're well. Got lots to go through today. First of all, going to give you the middle finger for the purposes of the video. Podcast, I'm giving the finger to the video. That is because Donald Trump apparently gave two female astronauts the finger after one of those corrected him when he told a press conference that they were the first women to walk in space. They said that we don't want to take too much credit for that because there have been many other female spacewalkers. And at that point, he started scratching his head with his middle finger, which I'm doing right now. And I've got to say, it's actually quite an awkward finger to scratch your head with. But it's just the camera's caught him at an awkward moment, and it may be. But otherwise, he's doing like schoolboy pranks or tactics, isn't it? He used to do that to the teacher, you know, do the two fingers and also the finger like you're scratching your head and go, what? I was just scratching my head, sir. You know, so he's going back to the fucking schoolyard with that one if that's the case. But anyway, you might have to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. He's done plenty of other stupid things. It's funny that he said that they were the first women to walk in space without actually knowing that they were or not. Everything's the first, the best, the greatest with Donald Trump, isn't it? Have you ever noticed that he's always been interviewed as well in his grounds of his garden, like shouting or screaming over the sound of fucking airplane engines? He's like, why don't you just like move away from like that so he can? And he stands there and shouts for fucking ages as well. Like, you know, he wants to give his opinion, but he's having to scream over the sound of these engines, so he looks mental. Anyway, just my opinion, Donald. I would move away from the engines, and then you can give your opinion in a more orderly fashion, let's say. Stella Artois are asking entrepreneurs for help to stop people binge drinking. What it's kind of juxtapose that, isn't it? Because they're trying to get people to buy their beer, and then they want them to stop binge drinking. It's because they've been labelled, or they're known to be infamous. Their infamous nickname, wife beater, because it's a strong lager. I mean, you just got to reduce the strength of your lager if you're that worried about it, Stella. I mean, surely you want people to buy your beer. And unfortunately, I've seen it. Many people who drink Stella end up fucking scrapping. It's like that old Tennent's Super and Tennent's Extra. People fucking... Pub car parks used to be battlegrounds when people were drinking that. You get pissed and fucking wouldn't know where you were the next day until, you know, the next day you'd wake up thinking, what the fuck happened last night? They don't sell that anymore, Tennent's Extra and Tennent's Super. I don't know why, but whether it's anything to do with that, but or because it was too strong. But Stella Artois is the next one in line, and they obviously know that, so they're trying to get somebody to come up with some reason, some way of stopping people from binge drinking. I don't know how you're going to do that, but they're offering 77 grand if you can come up with the idea. So just make up a story and fucking see if you can go and get hold of that 77 grand. But people are just going to drink, they're going to binge drink, and they're going to fight, unfortunately, with your lager anyway. Maybe you need to bring out an alternative version of it and see if people will drink onto that. It is nice, don't get me wrong. But it's, what is it, wife beater? It's not a great name, is it, wife beater? Okay, now it's like, you know, I've never seen that. I've seen grown blokes fucking punching themselves in the face as well. Fucking, you know, there's one or two people you'd wish would do that. Maybe should encourage people to drink more Stella and, you know, drop fucking cases off it at Donald Trump's door or something like that. See if you can get them to start punching themselves in the face. Anyway, Expensive Rebellion, should I say. £37 million the Extinction Rebellion protests have cost the police so far. 37 million, or have cost to police. And also they've left 80 tons of rubbish left behind. Well, that's not very clever, is it, leaving your rubbish behind? But I haven't been able to read all the way through this. But of course, you know, they're making protests, and where there's millions of people, the police have got to do their thing, haven't they? So it's not necessarily, it's a cost of the government, and they're trying to, that's the point, isn't it? They're trying to make a point, and if it doesn't cost anybody or have some kind of like negative effect to business or to whatever, then the marches or the protests are kind of pointless, because you can just roll on, and they could fucking march forever if nobody's affected by it. So hopefully it just means that people will take stock or do something about it, because none of us want to live in fucking Armageddon, do we? Or fucking Waterworld or some shit like that. Some shit film called Waterworld with fucking Kevin Costner all on our rafts. No, we want to fucking save the planet if possible. So anyway, they're going to keep doing it. So somebody needs to fucking step up and make some solid fucking changes. Anyway. What's this guy? Oh, Cliff Richard was stolen, wasn't he? Cliff Richard. There was a cardboard cutout of Cliff Richard that went missing for an airport, and it shut down the airport in Faro in Portugal. No, hang on a minute. Theft of a cardboard cutout of Sir Cliff Richard. Where was the airport? I don't know where the fuck the airport was, but it ended up anyway in a bowling club in Ramsgate in Kent. A guy nicked it because he wanted it on show with his thing, but somehow it shut down the airport. I don't know why a cardboard cutout of Cliff Richard's so important all of a sudden. It's hardly fucking like a terror plot or something, is it? You know what I mean? How's that going to fucking... Apparently a flight to the UK from Faro in Portugal, were told that all planes were grounded until the life-sized figure was returned. That is just ridiculous, and surely they're going to fucking... Is that going to come down on that guy who's nicked it for his bowling club? Are they going to like bill him fucking millions of pounds for all the lost money or the disruption for that? I mean, it's caused more disruption than the whole fucking Exit Rebellion or Extinction Rebellion there. We're just nicking a cardboard cutout of Cliff Richard. Lucky hell. There you go, Cliff. You're back in you're back in the good books now. You're popular, or you've hit the headlines, probably for the wrong reasons again, but not as quite as bad as the fucking ones that dragged you through the mud last year or the year before. So more of a light-hearted moment, that one. Anyway, we'll see you at Christmas #1, I imagine. Daisy Lowe has confessed to still buying bottled water despite her eco-activism, but is trying to do more for the planet. Well, if you need water and you can buy bottled water and you can get... It's kind of like fucking... I've bought bottled water. I try not to, but if I'm fucking caught short and I need a drink of water, I've got to buy it, haven't I? But everybody's trying to do everyone should be, at least it's constantly being put in the consciousness of people, because when I do buy it, I keep bringing the empty bottle back to the house and filling it up and then taking it back. But every now and then I forget to do that and I have to buy another one. So, but I am conscious of it, and but they like to name and shame people, don't they, who are, what's it called, trying to call them hypocrites and stuff like that. I mean, nobody's fucking perfect. At least people are stepping up and, they're giving up their time and going and doing something and putting it in the conscious of people. It's like recycling. Many years ago, nobody used to recycle. Fucking hell, when I used to walk around my council estate when we were kids, it was like, you were like pretty much walking on chip paper and rubbish, and it was like just fucking, people just didn't give a shit about this, like people would just eat the chips and just chuck it in a bush and it'd be there for forever. No one would clean it up. It's probably still like that now, but I'm just saying that people used to throw shit all over the place and dog shit everywhere and all that kind of stuff. And the more, like, even with the dog shit thing, people are picking it up and that, like, fucking, that was unheard of back in the day. Fucking, I don't think there was many days you would come in as a kid without having to do the smell test all over you to make sure you haven't got dog shit on your clothes. And the same with recycling now. Everyone does it. Most people do it, and most people have got a conscience for it. But but so the more people highlight it, the more it becomes so. That's what I'm going to say to that. So they're not all hippies. They're people who want us to live in a better place. So don't knock it. Speaking of hippies, Nigel Planer, Neil out of the Young Ones. Young Ones was fucking. I love the Young Ones. I grew up watching the Young Ones, and fucking Rick Mail is my comedy hero, I think. But Rick in the Young Ones, fucking hell, it's one of the funniest characters you'll ever watch. But Neil, also one of the funniest characters, he's just talking here about how Nigel Planer, his real name, he only made next to nothing from that programme. He got paid about £400 an episode, and after that he received royalties, but it was only based on a percentage of what he originally got for. So it was a percentage basically of £400, so per episode. So that's that's nothing, is it? When you look at what those actors got for Friends, they were getting something like $3 million an episode or something. But because the Young Ones was it one series? I don't know if it was any more than that, but he got next to nothing for it. But he's got, I guess, lifelong notoriety, and he's done lots of other theatre stuff and whatever else. But for his main role, which is always going to be remembered for, he got next to nothing, which is a shame. Maybe they should sell it to Netflix or to whatever and get some fucking big bucks that way, re-release it, remaster it, and get him the real money that he should deserve. And that's a good suggestion I think I've just come up with there. So get onto it. Is it Ben Elton who wrote it? Whoever's got the rights to it, sell it to Netflix and make some money. Or make a musical. They seem to be making a music about fucking everything these days. Why not Young Ones, the musical? I'm not a fan of the musicals, but I reckon I'd find that one quite funny, because they had loads of good music in it. Well, funny music, didn't they? I think Jules Allen was in it. They used to have like random things like Lemmy and Motorhead was in one episode. Jules Allen was in another. Just in the middle of the programme, somebody would just start fucking blasting out some rock tune, some band in one of the rooms in the house. Crazy programme. I'm explaining it to you like you don't know, but some people might not. Sharon Stone, let's go to something else retro. Sharon Stone is in the paper, posing in just a racy, let's say it's a racy photo, jumper and knickers, they've said in the paper, so I can say and she's 61 and she's posing for sexy photos for a magazine shoot, and saying she wants to grace her age and to look beautiful with age, like the many French actresses do. And it's right, they do, and she looks great, I've got to say. It's good that it's a good, advertisement for other people of the same age, that you don't necessarily have to be less beautiful as you get older. And there's lots of French actresses who are quite mature, and she's right, they are very, very attractive, and good for them. I don't know where I'm going with it, but she looks great anyway. And she's saying that her film Basic Instinct wouldn't really fly this day and age. That Basic Instinct is I don't have to explain what film that was, do I? Come on, surely everybody knows. But they said it wouldn't really fly today, but I think it would. I think people, snowflakes, fucking Jesus, snowflakes are just what's the word? A fucking, what's the word? We used to have points of view and shit like that back in those days. You always had people moaning about stuff. Oh, my screen's gone funny. You always had people moaning about films and whatever else all the way back, but they're just doing it in a different format now. They do it online and stuff, but I think the film would go down well. It's racy, and that kind of thing sells the film when people anticipate something and they think it's going to be, there's something she, does what in the film, okay, and it sells out at the box office. So, there's plenty of films like that these day and age. I'm just fucking trying to think of a film, actually. What was that film, Nymphomaniac or Nymphomaniac 2? I've not actually seen them, but I know it's all about fucking porn, and they're meant to be quite sexy and stuff, and it's got loads of Hollywood actors in it, like what's his name? The one out of Transformers. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. But Willem Dafoe and people like that in it, I think. So, yeah, they're just as racy. Working long hours. Let's get off to something less racy. Working long hours doubles men's chances of going bald, a study has found. So fellas who toiled for more than 52 hours a week lost all of their hair twice as fast as those who spent under 40 hours at work. That's got to be bullshit, surely. Researchers think spending too much time at work and not long enough relaxing at home triggers our stress hormones. Well, it's true in the respect of some people. Well, stress definitely does, doesn't it? Because some people who get that stressed, all their hair falls out or all their hair can go grey. So it's probably something true in that. But I know people who've gone bald who don't fucking do any work. You know, they're on the dole, or like they don't, you know, they had no intentions of ever working, just sit at home smoking weed all day, and they went bald. So what's their excuse? I guess it can, for some people, it's going to have an effect. But you know, you can go bald in. What's the other one? Some people who go bald who like. What am I trying to say here? People who go bald are hereditary. That's some people. My mate who went bald, his dad was bald and his old man was bald, and his old man, his granddad was bald, but they all went bald very early on, and they weren't workers. Let's put it that way. E.T., the actor who played Elliot in the film E.T., has been arrested for drink driving. I don't know. Has he used his phone call to phone home? There's a cheesy line for you. He's 48 now. I just thought it was an interesting thing because I forgot all about that actor, and he won a BAFTA for his role in E.T. That's my first film I went to see, E.T., when I was about 10 years old or something like that. First film I cried at as well. I think everybody cried at E.T., didn't they, when he went home or when he died, and then he come back to life. So we could all wipe away our tears and go, oh, I wasn't crying. But apparently he's obviously got issues because he's just been arrested, fell asleep in his car, and he's in the headlines with it. But he's been in Nightmares. What's it called? He's been in Gangs of New York, and he's also been in a film called The Last Ride. Apart from that, I've never seen him in anything else, so he's probably just killed his chances of having any other comeback now by going in the police headlines. A neighbour from hell who has caused misery in her road for nearly a decade is moving out, and the neighbours are all in the paper today praising that this woman's put her house up for sale. She's convicted of 3 assaults and threatened other residents with a walking stick and an axe. And she's put her house up for sale in Sutton Coldfield in the West Midlands. That's where my mum lived. So she might be a neighbour of our mum. Fucking crazy neighbour, apparently, because if everybody's out doing the conga around the street because she's moving out, don't forget she's going to move and she's going to be somebody else's neighbour. So they put a picture of her in the paper as well. So as soon as the moving van turns up and she starts piling all her stuff into a new house, everybody's going to be like, oh shit man, that's that woman out of the paper. So beware. What's her name? I'm not going to name and shame her. I don't know who she is. You never know what her neighbours are like. That's their opinion of her. What's her opinion of them? Anyway, they haven't met my mum. She lives around the corner from them as well. So anyway, she's coming to a neighbourhood near you very soon. So, let's get on to Snoop Dogg was given a bouquet made out of 48 joints of marijuana for his birthday. The rapper's family wanted to make sure he had a great 48th birthday, so arranged for a floral display to arrive at his door with spliffs embedded between the blooms. The guy's got spliffs coming at him left, right and centre. Doesn't he employ, he says he recently admitted he pays somebody between 30 and 40 grand a year to roll his joints for him. So he's got that's his job, just to roll joints and stuff for Snoop Dogg. So everything he does is weed. That guy smokes some weed, doesn't he? So I'd love to see him without smoking weed. You know, like some people smoke weed and they come down to a level which is like as I would normally be now. You know what I mean? He's probably hyperactive if he hasn't smoking weed. He's probably like fucking, you know. Everyone's like, fucking somebody give him a split. That's why they've sent him that Bouquet, because he's like probably just fucking hypo as soon as he doesn't have any weed. He's like probably like hard to be around or something or other. And if I smoke weed, I go down another level. I can't function. You know, I'm almost like fucking renders me out of action until the stuff wears off. So I go down a level. So I'm at the level what people smoke to get down to. Unfortunately, so weed's good for certain people, not for me if I want to get anything done. Good for a laugh though. You can fucking laugh your head off on this stuff, that's for sure. Chewing tobacco, they're trying to encourage people to chew tobacco now over smoking and over what's it called, vaping. So chewing tobacco could be coming to town, so that's going to be like, everyone's been vaping in the pubs up till recently. Now they're going to have spittoon buckets, and everyone's going to be going like they do in the old Western movies. It's not going to be a good look, is it? Everybody like big pouch full of chewing tobacco in the side of their face, brown teeth and all that, like the old what's it called, the outlaws in the Western films. I can't see that one catching on. Maybe if you might do it at home or something or other, but. I remember when I met a guy who used to love smoking weed or whatever, and he found out he had a bronchial problem. You know, he had pneumonia or something, where he was told he had to give up smoking. So he started and because he loved weed so much, he started like making cakes and eating it that way. And he just said it just killed he kind of lost interest in it now, because it was all the part of the smoking. Everybody likes to do the smoking, you know, it's part of the thing, and just to sit there eating cakes just killed it for him. So I think he's give up weed now, but you know, I don't think chewing tobacco is going to take on, because people like to do the smoking action, don't they? I'm a reformed smoker. I'll give up, so and I've still, you know, I used to like smoking, but it just one day the smell of it and everything. Now you just fucking can't be around the smell of it, can you? I was in Bratislava a few weeks ago and was in a cafe and people were smoking in there, and the fucking smell of it was horrible. You really notice it now. Maybe years ago you would never ever fucking, you know, it used to be a minority if you were the non-smoker. You'd walk into a pub and they'd go like, the whole pub would be smoking, and you'd be like, smoking or non-smoking, and you'd have this table, and like as a non-smoker you would like, everybody would usually choose the smoking table, and the non-smoker you'd have to sit in that. I'm glad that that's changed, really, because it helped me give up. Well, I'm going to finish up on a couple more things now. What we got here? What's that one? Chris the woolly sheep. Chris, that's the name of a sheep. The world's woolliest sheep has gone to the great sheep pen in the sky. Chris the sheep, who made the headlines in 2015 for the record-breaking weight of his fleece, died yesterday at the grand old age of 10. That's not even old, is it? 10. We think ourselves lucky as humans. We get to fucking live till, you know, a lot more than fucking a lot of animals do. He's considered old at the age of 10. I don't know if that's because mostly you're fucking being murdered at a young age if you're a lamb anyway. But anyway, his name was Chris. That's a shit name for a sheep. Sean the sheep, that's a shit name for a sheep, but it's a better name than Chris anyway. Anyway, he's gone. So I wonder if they sheared him before he went. Fucking shame if they did, because he looks like he was one of the ones who managed to survive being slaughtered at the very least. So at least he had a long life. Many of his buddies wouldn't have had. Right, I'm going to finish up on two more. A pub faces losing its licence after the landlord offered a dildo as a competition prize in a Facebook post. Craig Harker was also accused of promoting violence by asking punters if they would punch their ex for a steak, meaning a steak, a meal of a steak. Don't know how that one works. Is he offering a steak if somebody fucking gives somebody a smack? I'm sure plenty of people would punch their ex for nothing, but you don't have to. But anyway, somebody's reported him to the pub authorities, and he may lose his licence over it. That's a bit tight, isn't it? I mean, he's only having a laugh at the end of the day. I mean, you could just have a word with him if you didn't like what he said, but it's just banter at the end of the day. What about the guys who are drinking Stella Artois who are going to start fucking punching themselves in the face and punching other people? You know, they're the ones you want to have a fucking word with, not the manager for having a laugh and trying to give people a fucking good time in his pub. Anyway, nobody's going to have a good time if he doesn't let that dildo go out as a gift. Somebody's going to miss out there, isn't they? Right, going to finish up on one more thing. A dopey drug dealer has locked himself out of his home in his underpants when police called. He stepped outside and the front door slammed behind him, but he removed the door panel to get back in, and officers took his £8,120 haul of speed. Speed, that's fucking retro. Who has speed these days? Well, basically, I don't know what the relevance of that was. They called at his house, and he had to let them back in anyway. So whether he was in his pants or not, it's not really fucking relevant, is it? What's relevant is that he's £8,000 less off with his speed, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be having early nights because they can't be up all night smoking or sniffing his or taking his speed. That's like the old rave days, that fucking drug. Yeah, very retro. Right, I think I'm going to leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed it. Going to see you again all tomorrow. Bye bye for now. See ya.